guy. There's some people that I think about and I'm like, shit, man, those people were like way too cool for the moment in my life when I...
You still keep in contact with them?
Friends with them on, or her, I think, on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's a her now.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I'm like, yeah, adds up a little bit. Like, this person was just super cool, really good friend, like very caring, but obviously, like, some people don't belong or fit where they are in life.
That's true, they don't.
And, like, I just kind of got that sense about this person. It's like, man, you're really cool and really nice, but you don't seem comfortable with where you are and who you are. So,
that's all right. That's what high school's for.
Yeah.
Like, eventually you learn that, and I mean, not a lot of people don't even learn it in college. So,
or for the rest of their life.
Well, sometimes for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Ideally, people will just they'll find their place eventually. But
Nezzy, thank you. Amazing in the upload today. I assume you're referring to Arizona Circle.
Oh yeah, you were.
Thank you.
I watched all of it.
Aw.
I hadn't seen it yet. It was.
I hadn't either.
It was a tour de force by Lawrence.
Aw. Aw.
It was.
I can't wait for my Webby.
Hold on.
Wait for that.
We're going a little overboard there. We're not going to win any Webbies.
Can't wait for that Webby.
I
didn't get Trendy Gamer any year when they had it, so I'm owed something. Owed is the wrong word. Yeah.
I think that.
What you think? Boogie over me, Bruce?
Did Boogie win 1 year?
I think so. Wait, no, I think he was nominated. Dr. Disrespect, Bruce. Do you think Dr. Disrespect more Trendy Gamer than me? Just because he has more followers and people watch him a lot? And...
Dr. Disrespect earned it. Absolutely. He has put in a lot of time in that character, and it's awesome.
Yeah, he is, but he also killed the award because then he cheated on his wife, goddammit.
Well, yeah, but then now he's back. Everything's fine. Everything's great.
You know what's not back? Trending Gamer 2019. They're not giving that award away, and it should be mine.
Wait, are they not?
No. Dr. Disrespect was the last person who won it. They stopped giving the award away.
Oh, shit. Oh, man, that sucks, actually.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, it does. Did you see that China's going to limit gaming to kids under 18 to 90 minutes a day? I did.
I did see that, too, and they can't play after 10 p.m. or something?
Uh-huh. I mean...
China can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
China.
Like, everyone's waking up to China now, which is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but... This has been going on for a minute.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, they didn't allow video games at all for a long time. That was all very strictly regulated.
But truthfully, Lawrence, it is good that people are waking up to China.
It's very good.
Because now there's going to be more outcry within China, outside of China, and then ideally the system will change. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully.
I mean, I don't
want like harvesting organs and shit like that.
That's very bad. Yes, and to some degree, like. Especially in the West, we like to think, oh, it's up to the parents. Like, let kids play video games if they're doing it responsibly, all that stuff. I mean, okay, human rights violations very bad. Can we agree on that? Blah, blah. All right. I don't necessarily have a problem with other cultures and other countries running their societies the way that they choose to, provided that fundamental human rights are still respected.
Right, but I don't know. But in China, I don't know if the fundamental human rights are respected.
No, you're right. There's a lot. Well. There's a lot going on there too, but guess what? There's a lot of shit going on in America too.
Oh, absolutely,
so
yeah.
I hate the false equivalence game, and I don't want to get into it because it makes me seem like an asshole. But at the same time, it's like.
Did you see this?
It just seems like it's. Oh yeah.
This is my favorite story of the day today. The T.I. story.
There's got to be more to it, right? There has to be.
I mean, what? I mean, so
T.I. T.I. can't be that crazy.
He obviously is.
How?
And it sounds like his wife. Or partner had agreed to it a long time ago, right? So then this is just normal for them. It sounds like, and also if you're bringing kids up this way, then they think it's normal too, right? Because it's just part of the thing. And I'm sure I don't know.
That's the thing that really freaks me out. Is this? Well, she's 18 now, right?
Yes.
So surely she's gone to high school and been like, yeah. Yesterday was my birthday, and we went to the gyno with my dad, and her friends are like, wait. What? Yeah, everybody went on their birthdays. We all go to the gyno with their dads.
The next day, right afterward.
Yeah, just to check. Check what? Oh, hymens. What? Wait, what?
That's what I was thinking, because did she ever say, did T.I.'s daughter ever say this to her friends? Like, on her 16th birthday, go yeah, we gotta go to the gynecologist after this.
Yeah.
But
what do you have to do now?
And they probably went, who?
Sorry, what?
What?
You got to get checked out. I'm sure it's just make sure everything's working down there. Oh no, we're looking for something else. What? Wait, for what? Like a leprechaun down there? Wait.
One of the worst parts about the story
My
is
dad
that
wants to know my hymen's still intact.
everybody knows now, which I feel really bad for her. That's a terrible thing. Everybody knows.
Do you think there's any version of society? This is a dumb question, but I'm gonna bite it off anyway.
Do it. Let's
do you
do
think
it.
there's any version of society where like rich and famous people can't get away with just being crazy?
No.
I guess a normal person could still do
No.
that. It just wouldn't be a headline. If like some dude from Tennessee.
Somebody probably. I mean, there's probably someone else that does that,
Yeah, that's a good point.
right? I mean, why not?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure that that's a thing. But we just don't hear about it because it's not TI.
The thing that it's problematic on the surface level. The thing that really concerns me is what are the stakes? What happens if on her 19th birthday,
Yeah, if she loses her hymen.
it's popped? Was she kicked out of the house?
Maybe.
What does that mean? Or is Ti going to be like, my daughter's a woman. It's time to have the talk. Listen, sex is fun, but you need to do it safely. Like maybe it's just that. Maybe he's pure good dad.
I don't know about that.
Maybe he's like, I was waiting for this moment,
Well-
and I want to celebrate and empower you as a strong, independent woman. Take these condoms. Let me show you how to use them.
Pure good dad would not have been taking her to the gyno after her birthday, and been like, "Hey, let's check your hymen." That's not. I'm gonna. We can just throw that one out.
Okay, so let me. Maybe. I'm just because it's bonkers, right? Because okay, so maybe the daughter didn't know, and Ti was just like, hey, how's everything looking down there? And the doctor's like, no, she's very healthy. Okay, good, but not like too healthy. Right? So maybe he just talks about it with the doctor, and then the daughter just doesn't know.
Oh, maybe. No.
Is that better?
Did you read the article?
No.
Because in the article,
I didn't want to.
In the article, basically what he had said was that like, right after her 18th birthday, like literally the morning after her 18th birthday, he'd like slap a Post-it note on her door that says "Gyno, 9:30 tomorrow," and then they all go, and that's a thing. So it's like he'd like planned it. I'm reading it, that's what the article was.
What's weird too is the implication that anytime you want to have sex, you would think about your dad, and that the fact that you have a checkup in 9 months, and you're like, well, in 9 months he's gonna know my hymen's popped, so I better not. Like it's the implication that if you're a kid, you'll do good stuff all year, so that come Christmas you'll get a lot of presents. It's like it's April, I don't give a shit. That's not gonna matter. That's so far away. And then like 1 week out from December, you're like, oh no, I got to turn this around. So my parents buy me a Super Nintendo.
I wonder, can you get your hymen put back on?
Surely.
Autumn.
Just spray stem cells up in there until it grows back.
Have headphones in. Autumn. Can you get your hymen put back on?
I'm sure people have tried.
Yeah.
She said, I'm sure people have tried.
He said she signed a consent form for the doc to share that info with him.
Okay.
Why would she do that?
Well, because she's his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, he raised her.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I'm not saying he's brainwashing her, but I assume there's some sort of trust there, right?
what? I mean, is it just like a hyper Christian thing, or
I don't think so. No.
Then why would she care? I mean, I guess dad, right? Like dad's dad voice is scary, but what is he gonna do? Kick her out of the house? I don't.
Maybe something is at stake. He never really said what was at stake. I don't know.
Also, yeah, like if all she has to do is slip and fall on something wrong, and then that's it.
Well, that's what in the article. That's what the doctor was like.
Yeah, like
This can get ripped any way: horseback riding, bicycle riding, athletic activity. It doesn't matter. And he was like,
righteous
just do
teen pounding.
Just do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's something. I mean,
What?
if your kid's under 18 and you're a parent, you own them like they're property, basically. You don't, but
no.
is
but
that?
I know what you're saying. You don't own them. Like they kind of don't. What are they called? What's the name of that? They have a name for what they are when they're not emancipated.
Oh.
And basically they have to abide by your rules if they're living in your house.
Hey, Bruce, you want to see something even creepier?
What?
Google purity ball.
Oh no.
Yeah. This is some southern shit.
What's the Purity Ball? Is an American formal dance event attended by fathers and their daughters, which promotes virginity until marriage for teenage girls.
Look at pictures. Look at them.
Typically daughters.
Look at these. Just click through them. Look at them.
Wait, hold on. How does it go? It goes
Why
over
is it
here.
so bleak? Huh?
It goes over there, so it's underneath the webcam.
Oh
That's
no.
why.
Okay.
I wish I could move it over here. How do I move it over there?
I don't know. You guys probably just have to resize the browser window.
Okay.
So
Anyways,
yeah, this is basically like dudes laying
terrible.
claim to their daughters, and being like, "No, back off, world. She's mine." It's so washed out. Ugh, that is some Handmaid's Tale shit.
What's interesting about it is that, because like,
Look at some videos. There's like Windows Movie Maker stuff of like dads dancing with their daughters, and
what's implied here is that
look at him, 2 hands.
is that
It's
men
mine. It's
men,
mine.
like men know better than women, or men know what other men are thinking. So they
Yes.
think they can protect their daughter.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and like the implications there are so wild that like you're basically admitting to being trash so that you like understand how trash the rest of the world is.
Yeah.
I've never understood that of like, and I'm not by far not the first person to like expose this, but when guys are like, well, look at what you're wearing. It's like, well, you're just saying out loud that you have no self-control. And how is that a defense?
That's true.
How?
It's not a defense. Yeah, you're right. It's not a defense.
It's not. You're just saying that like,
Why do
well,
people
I
say
have
that
no
for you?
self-control and I'm an inhuman piece of trash, so what did you expect? It's like, you shouldn't have expected any basic human decency from me, and that's on you. How is that even a thing? How? I don't understand, man. Dudes.
You know what I always think about in these situations?
Yeah.
This is a far cry, but remember when Princess Leia says, "The more you tighten
my
your
language.
grip, the more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more they slip through your fingers."
Yeah?
That's what I always think of, because it's true.
Yeah, you're right.
The more you clamp down on your child or whatever. I mean, if you remember being a high schooler and your parents were like, "Don't do this," immediately you're like, "I got to figure out how to do that." You know, like that's what you did,
Yeah.
because you didn't. If you were ruled by fear, eventually.
The fear worked for me for a long time.
It would work for
and
a little
eventually
bit.
it stopped.
And then eventually you whiplash the other way. You know, like
Yeah,
then
you're right.
Then you're just like, all right, I'm gonna do everything all the time now.
I was I was like in it. I was into church for a long time. Like the organization made sense. I was going to be like a warrior of good, and like church gives you a very clear path to do that.
It does, yeah.
And then the older I got and the tighter it got, especially like when you enter your teen years, what a Southern church will put you through in terms of like making sure you never have sex or even think about it was intense. And like I did my due diligence. I went to my thankfully can't remember the name of the book anymore, but you know, it's when like you can look up a word and it will show you all the references.
Oh,
to
the concordance.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, the concordance.
I looked up the concordance to try to find the Bible's stance on masturbation, because I was like, I'm gonna need to know.
There is none.
I'm gonna need to know. Yeah, the only like there's some really arcane shit in the
Like
Old Testament.
thinly
'cause of course
veiled,
there is,
yeah.
but I was like, so what's the deal here? And I remember even asking my pastor, and my pastor was uncomfortable, and he was like. Yeah, and I remember this is like one of the many like earth-shaking moments where it's like, maybe this isn't for me. And he's basically like, well, if you're worried about it, probably best to not do it. And I was like, well, that could describe everything in life.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he was like, yeah, well, that's just what Jesus asked us to do. I was like,
See,
sorry, man. The Bible doesn't talk about roller coasters, but I think those are okay.
you and I had interesting upbringing, because I was also brought up in a Christian household, but I was never forced. So like my dad was a pastor and was for years and years and years, and we went to church every Sunday, but I never felt like I was forced. I don't know what it was.
Huh.
Like my parents did a really good job about that, where like I never felt like, even if I didn't go to church, there were a couple times I remember being like, I'm not going to go to church, and they'd be like, okay. Damn. And like I was young too, so like, and they would be like, all right, well, we'll see you later, and then they would leave and come back. It was just like the Homer Simpson episode.
Oh yeah,
of The Simpsons,
had the best day ever.
where they would come back and I'd be like, I feel left out. Like it was like one of those things
Wow.
where like I feel like I missed something, and so truthfully, the church when I would go to church, my best friend Dan is from church. Like that's where I met him.
Oh, cool.
So like a lot of friends that I still have today are from church, and whether or not they've still kept to the faith, you know, whatever. It's everybody changes, but either way, we're still friends. So I had a fantastic environment at those churches. So I got really lucky. A lot of people didn't have that. A lot of people were forced to go, and therefore they came at it with a terrible outlook on it, because they're just like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is everybody telling me what to do? When instead there were different choices. Like at my church, it was a choice. You know, like these were choices you had. Same with masturbation. I remember when my mom caught me, my mom flipped, but she wasn't
caught.
like basically caught. She wasn't angry at me, but she was like sort of like caught off guard and like sort of like
So were you in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you didn't like make every possible effort to conceal your shame.
Oh, I did. I mean, like, I tried.
She still
Like, she still was upset.
busted in there?
She still, well, well, I was probably I probably thought I was being secretive, and I totally wasn't.
Gotcha, yeah.
Either way, because I was like 12.
Okay.
But either way, my dad wasn't angry at all. My dad was sort of like, hey, I remember him saying something to the effect of, just don't do it around your mom.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so chill.
Yeah, and
Man.
which was really nice.
Uh-huh.
I remember feeling really good about that because I was like, all right, well, I mean, this is, the more that I talked to everyone else around me, the more everyone else was like, yeah, that's all we do. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I'm not crazy.
I remember a specific moment. Speaking of like telling your friend something and then being like, "Yeah, dog, welcome to the game."
Yeah.
I growing up in a small town with like just pure Christian friends and no internet does not teach a young man about sex or even the proper masturbation technique or even like how to do it. It's pretty amazing to think about that. Like you just don't naturally know how to jerk it. I consider myself something of an expert at this point. I remember at a Half Price Books finding the Kama Sutra.
Oh yeah, everybody
being
did
like,
that.
Oh damn.
Everybody did that. That's not a thing that kids can do, by the way, anymore. There are like no bookstores anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
So
well, it's the internet. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, I know, but you and I had to go to a bookstore to do it.
But I remember looking at it and be like, oh, wow, look at all this. I didn't know you could do all of these things. And getting boned out pretty hard. But still having no idea how to masturbate. But, like, I knew that getting aroused maybe had to pee. So I would, like...
Huh.
Yeah, because it just, like, I guess put pressure on things.
Sure.
So I would go to the restroom to piss. And then I'd be like, well, okay, I guess I just got to stifle this one again. And it just would leave. Like, I'd just have to, like, think about something else. Think about Jesus until the boner went away. But I remember telling my friend about it, and I'd be like, listen, I got a trick. The adult section in the bookstore.
That's a good trick. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was the same with me.
Yeah, and I was like, I saw some stuff, man, and I had to go to the bathroom. And my friend, who I realize now, assumed that I meant I was jerking off. And he was like, I didn't know you did that. And I was like, everyone pees.
Oh,
Like, I was thinking...
Oh, I see.
I was thinking that in my head, and I was like, there's a subtext here I don't get. So I was just like...
How old were you?
Oh, gosh. I think it was like 11, 12, in that range.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before on content at some point, but it was the same with me where like I remember my friends being like talking about it and me knowing that I was missing something, but I didn't know what I was missing. So I was always like really intently listening to them. And I remember specifically a friend of mine said, he was like, hey, have you guys ever masturbated? And all of us were like, oh, yeah, of course, because we're all 11.
Just bros.
Yeah, and we're like,
course
oh,
you're
yeah,
jerking off, man.
that's
We're
what you
bros.
do. Like, we all know how to do it. You do it like this, right? And he's like, have you done it, but have you guys ever seen the sperm? And we were like, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, sure,
Absolutely
sure.
saw the sperm. And he's like, yeah, there was one time I saw it swimming around in my underwear. And all of us
Like
were
a
like,
tadpole?
all of us are like, yeah,
bro.
absolutely, yeah.
Sick.
And I remember when I went home being like, I got to figure out how to do this.
Big ol'
'Cause
sperms, bro.
I got to figure out
Yo, bro, how big are your sperms?
how to see the sperm
You got like 4 or 5? How many?
swimming around because,
How many you squirt out of there? 10?
and then I
Dude,
think,
one time 12.
and also the thing, so when I was a kid,
Oh, this is not November, too. This is so appropriate.
yeah, right, it is. I just realized. When I was a kid, the internet was just becoming a thing, so you couldn't really Google things.
Yeah.
This wasn't a thing you could go and like Google sperm and be like, oh, they're minuscule and microscopic. Like,
So you never had like a health class where there was a picture of a sperm in a textbook?
I was.
Because that fucked me up. I thought they were big.
I was still young, so I was like 11.
And I thought you pissed them out.
I
So,
thought that happened
One
too.
time I had a piss boner and I pissed and I looked in the toilet bowl and I was like, it looks clear. I don't see any guys swimming around in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No,
huge
but
distraction.
that's the thing. Like, we were all trying to figure out how we would see it swimming, and we never did because you can't. It's microscopic.
Yeah, the only somewhat science experiment that I did in that regard. That's my. Yeah, I don't know if this is getting into TMI territory.
Do it.
This is something that I talked about on Funhouse Content at some point.
Oh, okay.
Is so at some point I got dial-up internet,
Uh-huh.
which that is a level of like walking up a hill in both ways that Thank God future generations will never have to endure. It's trying to watch porn on dial-up.
Oh man, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
The
Actually,
hardest.
what I used to do is I would like had a couple of sites where I could like download like 2 megabyte clips. That took a couple of hours. So I would queue up some good stuff, get my rage boner energy. I'd go out and run because I was fat as hell, and for my limited understanding of anatomy and health, like running and burning calories is how you got skinny. Turns out that's true. Doesn't work if you're eating like 5,000 calories of fast food a
Right.
day.
It's sort of true. Yeah.
So I would queue up all my downloads. I'd like lock my computer. I'd go out and run in like frigid Texas winter, come back, and then come back, if you know what I mean. But basically, so typically I would watch stuff, get myself all ready to go, and then just go jump in the shower because that's just easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's instant cleanup, man.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to do it in the show.
Oh, you are?
I mean, like, you're not
Alright,
supposed to do it, but it's the easiest way to do it, right?
The problem is though, you never get to directly immerse yourself in the stimulation while you're jerking off. I'm always just staring
because
at
you
tile.
can't. Because you're in the shower. And there's no
Yeah.
computer in the shower. Right?
Exactly.
Got it.
So one time, and this is probably, believe it or not, the most deviant I think I've ever gotten. I also had a big 7-Eleven habit at the time. Again, couldn't lose weight. Didn't know why.
Yeah.
Just eating gas station sandwiches and 64 ounces
I
of
fucking
soda.
love their hot dogs though.
They are really good.
They're really good.
So I had a big ass empty soda cup. So I was like, wait a minute, I'll just jerk off into this cup while staring at porn.
Oh.
So I did, but that's not even the end of the story.
No.
Because I always remember, in health class or whatever, being like, I mean, that's fine and all, but I don't know how this stuff works. It just come in the shower, goes down the drain. Who cares?
Yeah.
So I can't remember why, and I promise there's a good reason because I'm not a disgusting individual. But I jerked off into the cup, and then the cup sat there for I want to say 20 minutes or something. Didn't throw it out immediately for some reason, and I don't know why. And then I looked back in, and it wasn't just globbed up on the bottom. It had like crawled all over the bottom and like spread up the sides.
What? How?
They were swimming, baby. My little boys.
Well, was it in water?
No, it was an empty cup.
What?
Yeah, it like spread out.
I have never done that.
I have never done it since. But I mean, it makes sense, right? Why if you're
It was escaping all the chat. It was escaping. It was escaping.
No, they died in that plastic grave. I mean, if you fire it inside a lady, it's not gonna go exactly where the eggs are.
Yeah, that's true.
They gotta filter their
Does
way
it
up in
actually move on its own?
Yes.
I've never looked.
there. Haven't you seen Look Who's Talking? They're swimming around all the time.
No, but I mean, like basically the whole of it. Does the whole of it move on its own?
I don't think it moves as a mass. I think it's just a bunch of tiny little guys inside of a solution that keeps them protected and nourished as they're doing their thing.
Well, now I'm curious.
I think, yeah, I don't know. That was one thing that I saw, and I was like, oh, well, there you go. I guess that's how it works.
Huh.
Because I've never. Oh man, I'm terrified of that. By the way, not.
It's
by the
awesome.
way,
It's great that he lost a ton of weight.
yeah, no, 100% props
Yeah.
to that guy. But I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if I ever get in the shape that I want to be in, like that guy, I will have a little titty flap.
Well, I mean,
but
I think it's one of those things that like
that's a good problem to have. Man, he looks good.
eventually though, like
Intermittent fasting, huh? Damn.
surgery and stuff like that will help.
Yeah.
Which I know sucks, but I guess it's part of it if you're going to lose a ton of weight. I mean, good for him either way. It's pretty amazing. But
Yeah.
well, now I'm really curious. What if you put it in a condom, maybe?
No, I mean, it would probably just spread around the condom, but
Would it? Wow.
yeah.
Nature's awesome.
Or maybe it can't grab onto the sides because it's all slick. Abs and tits, the perfect human. Amen. So yeah, I don't. Wait.
Oh yes.
The whole
So,
thing where if you look at your balls
yeah.
when sitting down, they move and undulate.
Not swimming. Yeah, I knew that. Have you never noticed that?
I don't. I've never just.
You should look at them. They move all the time. They're constantly moving.
That's horrific.
Yeah, They're like I don't. So specifically,
No, I'm never gonna stop thinking about that.
specifically, I don't know why they do that, but they do. I know for sure that they move up closer to your body when it's cold, and then they drop when it's hot. I know that. So they move on their own, but they also do this thing. Have you never seen that before?
I've never just stared at my nads.
You should
Should I?
take a look. Yeah,
I could be playing.
you should
video
learn.
games, though.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you should learn your body.
I should. You're right. It's wild that like as I'm like working out more and doing more intense muscle workouts and stretching more and like rolling out my muscles and stuff, I'm still learning about my own body, just where muscles are and how they work, and specifically how to make my brain talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird thing.
You have to be in tune with. That's one thing that I've learned after years of working out. Was I used to just ignore myself. So like if you're working out, if you're playing sports or working out or doing something like that, there's adrenaline, and if you hurt yourself, you generally don't feel it. You kind of like you get a little twinge or whatever, and then it gets really bad when you stop because the adrenaline dies down, and then your body starts to react to what you did to it. Now I used to lift weights and I would like hurt myself a little bit, like I get a little twinge and be like, and lift through it. Don't do that. So if you get a twinge, if you're lifting and you kind of like feel something maybe like pop a little bit or like you just got a little bit of twinge.
I get that though. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Mostly in my back. My back is just really tight.
Not the same with me.
Okay.
You should stop. You should stop.
But I want to get big.
I know. And the reason I say that is because if you get hurt and then you lift through it, you're going to get way more hurt and it's going to take longer to recover,
You'll
right?
be out of the gym longer.
You'll be out of the gym longer. So, but if you get hurt right away, stop. This is a lesson that I've learned 100 times and still don't do it. But if you stop, then at least you'll have a shorter recovery and you get back in the gym. It's just, and the older you get, the worse it becomes. Just so you know.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Because like when you're a kid, it doesn't matter. You heal up
Yeah.
right away. Like when you're 20, it's just like you don't get hurt. You're like even if you hurt yourself or sprain your ankle, whatever, you're back in a day. But if you sprain your ankle and you're 33, you're out for a week and a half.
I'm slowly working on my home gym. I'm so excited. I gotta get actually a lot of equipment now that I'm super getting into different kinds of workouts and things.
What'd you end up getting, by the way?
Right now I just have a rack, a bar, a curl bar, a set of plates, and a set of dumbbells. And there is a oh, that's really cute.
I never noticed that.
There is like a pulley system where I can do some like pulley work, but I want to get a full like cable system. So,
But you got a rack though.
Splurging on myself. Yeah. I got a rack and a bar.
You have a bench and stuff too.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
I got enough for like the big 3 lifts. It's just all the accessory work that I've started to get into that require like a really complete cable machine, like rows and things like that. You can kind of do it with barbells and dumbbells and stuff, but there's just a bunch of permutations on those exercises I want to do.
I see people in chat being like, "That's all you need," and they're semi-right. But it's nice to have the other stuff because if you want to change up your workout.
It's also like, for me, like posture work and stuff. There's a lot of small muscles in the back and the upper back and the shoulder and stuff. Like, you're not going to work your delts doing the big 3.
Yeah.
You'll get stronger, but I do think that like if you want hypertrophy all around, you do need a lot of the accessories.
That's why I have a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because like the like you're talking about, one of those cable machines are great to have because usually they have a wide grip.
Yep.
That you can pull yourself up and do pull-ups.
Oh yeah, like lat pull down and stuff like that. I guess you that is basically a pull up, but also like if you have all that weight stuff. Oh hey, see you, Rudy. Gonna go back to dying in games. If you have all that stuff, I feel like it's also easier to get to exhaustion. So if you're just doing pull ups, you'll get to the point where like you just can't do a pull up anymore, and then you can do the thing where you jump and hang and like slowly lower yourself, and you can kind of burn stuff out. But if you have the ability to work fine muscles at low weights, you can really, really wreck yourself.
You can focus, yeah.
Yeah. So that's I'm so excited to get a whole home gym going. Can't wait.
How long have you been working out at home?
I haven't even done it yet.
Oh, you haven't started yet?
I just now rearranged my garage. I've been busy, man. BlizzCon and we can talk about BlizzCon. So many cool things happened.
So have you not talked about BlizzCon yet? What
Not
happened?
really.
What happened at BlizzCon?
Oh gosh. Okay, so BlizzCon was pretty wild. Stephanie works for BlizzCon. She is the community/social lead. I can't remember her exact title because she does a lot of different stuff. But she's that for Diablo. So this was a big year for her, especially after last year when they announced Immortal and everyone hated Blizzard and Diablo specifically.
What about Hong Kong?
Yeah, that was bad too. So the 2 issues actually compounded in a really bad way. So she went through BlizzCon last year and everyone was like, "Oh, Blizzard sucks. I hate them." And so she at the time obviously. Whoa!
Oh,
that was awesome,
man.
I
knew that was going to happen.
He took the fall pretty well.
Yeah.
So at the time, she knew they were working on Diablo 4, and she knew that it was the kind of game that everyone would like, but they weren't ready to announce it then. So she was just like, "You assholes! You're gonna all apologize next year," which kind of happened.
Yeah.
So So she had to wait all year of everybody dunking on Blizzard and, oh, don't you guys have phones memes and red shirt guy memes and
She was right.
so she had to survive all that, and then almost to BlizzCon again, where it's the big year, the saving year, and then the Hong Kong shit happens, and now everyone's like, Blizzard, you sided with tyrannical government, and she's like, motherfucker, all we had to do was not fuck up for a year, and we couldn't even do that. So she was just bummed because she's like just getting shit on.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, she's a community manager for Blizzard. Of course, she'd be bummed.
And that affects internal morale, and everybody's pissed off when they had the layoffs, and it was just like it's a series of knocks. And
yeah, that's a big deal.
So I know what I'm doing, Kulukumaki. I appreciate your concern, but this isn't the first time I've talked about sensitive things. And nothing I'm saying is like not anything that would, you can either come to the conclusion on your own, or people have said it on public record. So okay, so now we're at BlizzCon 2019. Yeah, leaks, but the leaks were like 2 days before.
They were. Which was pretty well contained.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It's still a bummer, but it could have been worse. So coming into BlizzCon, okay, so Stephanie, since she's working community and stuff like that, they invited a lot of influencers out because they wanted to get good coverage for Diablo 4. They wanted to establish a lot of communication lines with people.
It seemed like it worked.
It did. It did. And now that the show's done, it did, but that wasn't necessarily the case last Thursday when we were.
Yeah, when you were about to go, right?
Yeah. So, and also it was Halloween, so I was getting loose on a couple of tall boys of Natty Light Seltzer.
When was that?
That was Halloween.
What time of the night before BlizzCon?
Yeah. This was Halloween Wednesday. No, Thursday. Wait.
Thursday. It was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah. So I get home from work and I'm putting up Halloween decorations. And people start coming by at like 5:30 or like 6:15. Like I come up the driveway coming home from work and there's already kids there with buckets. I'm like, you guys got to give me a second.
I mean, truthfully, Adam and I were just talking about that. You're supposed to trick or treat at dusk.
Yes.
You're not supposed to trick or treat when it's like pitch black outside at 9 or whatever. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So I pulled out we have a big inflatable shark that has glowing eyes and 2 little feet sticking out of his mouth, and he wiggles his head back and forth.
Aww.
It's really cute. So I had to set that up and like run the extension cord out the window and everything. This fucking gif is killing me right
adorable.
now.
I love it. That's why I left it here.
He loves that dog so much.
And the dog loves him. Sorry, go ahead.
So I set up all the decorations. Kids already start coming by, and like we're in a pretty busy neighborhood. Like I'm not used to that traffic.
That's really cool.
And it's slammed straight for about 3 hours. So I'm that's pretty good actually. Man, Zeus is a slut, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So went Thursday. Yes, I'm giving out candy to a ton of kids, and then like around 10 o'clock it slows down. So then we load everything into the car and drive down to Anaheim. Get into the hotel like 11:30, and then we start packing like influencer boxes.
So because usually when influencers either arrive or leave, they get a bag full of things that Blizzard has given them for free. Just so you guys know, that's what happens generally when you go to an event and they've invited you.
Yes, they got a little.
They'll give you free shit.
Box of swag. So we were trying to like match everyone's shirt sizes and coat sizes and pack boxes and put names on things. And my job was rolling posters and stuffing them inside poster tubes. At one point, I got a really gnarly paper cut that is still kind of there. But I was just sliding it in. It went against my palm and just sliced it open. And then I started bleeding, and then I bled on a number of posters. And I was like, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Diablo 4, just bleeding everywhere.
Right.
So I had to take a break. But yeah, we were basically like, we were rolling posters and stuffing boxes and stuff until like 3 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
Passed out up at 9 to get down to the floor.
Drive to Irvine, yeah.
Actually,
or were you already
we were already there.
Oh,
we were at the
hotel.
hotel. Yeah, we drove down the night before. And then, so first thing off the top, we had to, like, luckily Stephanie borrowed this like wheelie cart from one of her coworkers. So I loaded it all up with boxes and like gift bags and stuff because we were giving out like stuff for Diablo Immortal and for Diablo 4 because we had people in to stream both and like talk to devs and stuff. So there was like goodie bags handing out. We had to like take it down, carry it upstairs, get it through security, take it into the con, distribute all these boxes. And it was like the security there was getting pretty antsy inside the convention. Like the fire marshals were getting pretty stern about how many people they would let into various parts of the convention hall at any one time.
Sure.
So that was an interesting thing to navigate. We figured it out. But yeah, most of my Saturday was like running those boxes from the hotel down to the floor so that they could be given out to influencers, and then trying to get like water and food for Stephanie because she was just on con mode, so she wasn't drinking or eating, and I had to kind of shove things at her.
Were you able to like be a little drunk the whole time?
Oh no, I was stone sober most of I didn't have time, believe it or not. And yeah, I know most of my days were just like doing courier runs back and forth from the room to the show floor to unload stuff. There were some cool moments though. So Stephanie hired a cosplay group called Henchmen, who do incredible work. They did the Lilith cosplay, who's the villain for Diablo 4.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
She was incredible.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of times, and this was one of the cooler things I got to do. Basically, got to body block for Lilith as she was like walking through the con floor, because they were taking her out to the big fountain where they
That's
did like
really
a big
cool.
photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was pretty cool because she was so badass looking that people just their minds went blank when they saw her. So, which was good and bad because they would just like stop in walkways and stare and had to be like,
yeah.
okay, you gotta move, because she had giant wings that would just clip people down to the floor.
She looked fucking awesome.
My favorite, yeah, she did, to the degree that, and this is my favorite moment that I'll remember for a long time. There was a dude, and one of the moments we were kind of moving Lilith across the floor, there was a dude who had 2 beers, and he was just like walking and got his 2 beers, great day, and then Lilith like crosses his path, and he's just like, oh, and he like is watching her while he's walking, and then he bonks into a woman and spills both beers directly down her back.
Oh man.
And she goes like, blah! And she like turns this way while he skirts around her to the back. And she didn't see who did it.
She never found out?
I mean, maybe I was moving. So I saw it happen and I was like, I'm sorry. And then she looked at me like she wanted to murder me because I think she thought I was the one who spilled the beer on her and was apologizing. But I had my hands up, suspiciously absent of beer. So because I was like trying to like guide people away. But man, that was awesome. You've done some pretty good cosplay when somebody just dunks 2 beers on somebody without knowing.
So she never found out who her attacker was?
Maybe not. I mean, I moved on pretty quickly. That was like a couple of seconds later. But yeah, it's a good cosplay when people mind wipe the second they see her.
She looked amazing. I thought it was like for a lot of the times I saw pictures, I thought it was a statue. I thought it was a statue that they had made,
Yeah.
but then she moved. And I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. Apparently it was like, there's the cosplayer who was wearing all that stuff was like 6'2", as an athlete because the wings are like 20 pounds and the head piece is like another 5.
Yeah.
So she can only be in it for, I think like an hour tops before it's just too
much.
painful. Yeah. And she has to like take it off and cool off. But yeah, she was really vibing it too. She would just like go up and freak people out and then just like wave them out of the way. She'd like stalk behind people while they were streaming, which is pretty cool.
Did Stephanie walk away from the event, I guess, feeling better?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good.
The event went really well. Everything that she had a hand in turned out really well. The cosplayer, all of the streamers that she coordinated to come, all had a really good time and had a pretty good event and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of work. And there was another thing where there was like an influencer party where it was like a mixer between influencers and developers. Mm-hmm. They could kind of talk and get to know each other. She was working the door the whole night. And like hadn't had dinner, so I was like trying to pass her food, and they didn't allow drinks out of the patio, so I was just sitting on the other side of the railing, and I'd hand her a drink, and she'd take it, hand it back because they didn't let people have it outside. So I was basically just like just booze courier for her.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of it was work, but
was the crowd cool?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like a lot of people, I think were really anticipating it to be a total clusterfuck of like protesters and stuff.
Yeah, I was
too. That just wasn't really on the floor at all. Not at all. And there, according to reports that I read, there were crowds outside, but I never really saw them, to be frank. Maybe just wasn't there at the right time.
Yeah, I saw like a couple of like random signs and stuff like that.
That's kind of it. I saw. If I didn't know the context going into the show, I wouldn't have known anything was off. I think there was like a bit of a walkout. So they did their opening ceremonies where they like did all their big announcements. Mm-hmm. When Hearthstone came up, a good number of people did get up and walk out. I thought it was just because everyone was bored of Hearthstone at the moment. I was like, man, people really don't give a shit about Hearthstone. Now thinking back on it, I'm like, oh no, they were protesting Hearthstone. Okay, all right, I get it.
But wait, hold on. They were at BlizzCon and they walked out During Hearthstone, is that what happened?
Yeah.
So they paid for their BlizzCon ticket.
And went to the show.
That's not a boycott.
So there was a lot of that. There were a lot of people walking around with big old smiles, waiting in line to like take Diablo 4 photos and stuff, wearing the free Hong Kong shirts. And I'm like, every little bit counts and all that stuff. Just stand up for your morals and everything. But
Yeah.
I tend to think that like a moral act is one that requires some amount of sacrifice. So,
Oh yeah, I mean usually it does.
yeah.
Generally.
So, I believe that come 2 years down the road or whenever Diablo 4 comes out, I don't know, Blizzard time, what have you. There will be people who remember and take a stand and stuff like that. But oh, that's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a whole lot of... I was tweeting about the event because, I've reasoned it out for myself about why I wasn't necessarily like joining the boycott or anything, even though I think that, Hong Kong deserves their own government and democracy and all that stuff. Yeah. 100%. But there were people who, like, every time I tweeted about BlizzCon, they'd be up in my mentions, like, proudly proclaiming that they were boycotting. And I'm like...
That's fine.
That's fine, but...
Yeah, totally fine. They can do whatever they want.
I agree, but, like, that tweet... The tweet doesn't do much.
Well, no, you have to actually not buy their products.
And that happens quietly. Like, no one's going to be in your living room, like, giving you a little a little pat on the back. And that's real sacrifice.
Yeah.
In the quiet, in the void, when no one's there to congratulate you
right.
and no one's there to watch what you're doing, you still do the thing that you think is right. I really hope that everyone who is very vocal does that. I really hope.
I've had a number of conversations about Disney with people. And they're always like, Disney owns everything. I hate Disney. And I'm like, okay, well, are you going to watch Star Wars? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Don't. Are you going to go see, like, the next Marvel movie? They're like, well, maybe. And I'm like, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And they're like, well, what about, I'm like, Disney Plus? You can Disney Plus? I'm like, you probably. And I'm like, okay, well, don't do it. Because if you hate Disney, you got to stop giving them money. Because they're always going to keep making things if they're making money.
Uh-huh.
And then once they stop making, that's the beauty, it's the double-edged sword. The beauty and the worst part of capitalism is that if you're going to give money to it, it's going to keep going. That's just the way. And like everyone's like, I hate Google. You got to boycott Google.
Yeah,
it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
But you got to try.
I separated myself from Facebook because I have severe moral problems with that company and the way they've operated.
And I've always respected that because you're absolutely right. Yeah. You've been right for years about it, but just so you know.
It's only gotten worse. I mean, that's the thing. I don't need anyone to... I mean, I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I did what I considered to be like getting my opinion out there to the degree that I have, but in my own private life, I'm almost like, no, I'm not giving them anything. I'm not going to let them sell my data. Jeez.
I mean, you were 100% right. And this was years ago. Because, I mean, it's one of those things we all know when we click the TOS and go, yes.
Yeah, whatever.
We're giving them everything.
Uh-huh. I think that's fine, by the way. I mean, they deserve some compensation for the services they're providing. And I think to a degree, people are usually okay with the trade-off of providing your data and your lifestyle to companies that then monetize it.
One thing I see in chat a lot, which is, I'm pirating it for Disney, or anything else for that matter. I don't think that's it. Unfortunately, if you pirate it, then what happens is you're going to end up playing it, you're going to end up talking about it with your friends, and you're going to end up building hype for this thing. And it is a less, I'd say it is a step towards boycotting and towards affecting what a company does. Yeah, they still get marketing from it. There you go, Donbot. Yeah. It's on the way. And I get what you're doing. You're like, oh, well, I'm going to steal it from it. But you're still watching the shit out of it, and you still like it, and you're still going to talk about it, and you're still going to like go tweet about it and probably buy other video games that are based around it and go see other movies, et cetera, right? It's a slippery slope. Just don't do it.
That's been a PC or like a gamer thing for years.
It's a gamer thing, yeah.
Like
it is.
You just, and I've seen people do this where they watch very closely and they're like, yes, finally we found something. Yay, we can pirate it and consider ourselves heroes for that. That's dumb. I do. This is not in any way to justify that mindset because I do think that it is a bit bullshit. But when I think about it, if Disney sees their piracy numbers skyrocketing or whatever, then they'll probably invest a lot in anti-piracy, which costs them money and makes it more annoying for the people who are consuming
like I said, it's
products,
a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you should do it.
It is theft,
but it is, and you also are all breaking the law.
Yeah,
if that matters to you at all.
It just makes you Batman. Anti-hero on the internet.
Yeah, right.
Real Joker type.
But the best way to do it is just to not see it, and not pirate it, not talk about it. And if somebody's like, "Yo, did you see episode 9?" You're like, "No, I didn't," because I don't like Disney.
And not say it in a way that's like, ask me why.
Oh yeah.
I dare you. You just have to be like, no, not my thing. I don't want to support that company. And then
Yeah.
one thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately, because when it comes to like the imperative to consume media to be part of the conversation or relate to people, is and this kind of freaked me out. I was talking to, it was Tara actually, Jacob's girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And she was basically like, yeah, I don't watch movies or like all these things that people ask me about. I don't really do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it made me realize that, yeah, that's kind of the way that people, at least in America, and what I can see, that's the way people identify with each other or get to know each other, is by like trading the brands and properties that you consume and exchanging opinions about them.
That's right.
And I was like, well, I know that this is not, I don't want to get into too like, I'm a very smart college student kind of talk, because that's where this is going. But I was like, man, that's depressing to have the one thing that you like, the reason you consume media is so that you can develop connections with the people around you, and hopefully like I really I had a bit of a mini panic, because I was like, well, if I don't talk about Marvel, what do I talk about people with? And then I think ideally there'd be things of more substance, I guess, about your day and your feelings and your history and your
Lawrence,
experiences.
so when did you discover this?
Well, I think I discovered it to some degree when I lived in Dallas, because
good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone opened with football, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I
don't
watch football, and then it would just be like,
well, that's the kind of
what
stuff.
do we do?
The reason that what that's supposed to do, I feel like conversation is supposed to be a certain way, and what I mean by that is like football or the weather or something like that will open it up, right? It's small talk to basically break in. And a good example of this, I don't know if you've ever done this.
Talk about your moving sperm.
Sure, yeah, sure. That's a good icebreaker.
Do you know something about cum?
That's what's called an icebreaker.
Yeah, you're right.
And
there's value to that. I used to be very like, small talk's stupid. Let's just skip right to the hard stuff. Bad idea.
No, doesn't work either. Because I've tried it. But what I guess what I'm saying is, have you ever been? Let's say you went and had drinks with just one person, whether or not it was a guy or a girl, and it's not a date. You're just like, hey, let's go get drinks. And basically you sit down and you realize you talk for 30 minutes about nothing. Basically you sit there and like kind of bullshit about normal stuff that isn't it's like, again, the weather or football or Marvel or whatever else. But eventually you get into the good stuff. You get into the stuff where you make a connection with a human being and talk about feelings and talk about, like what they're doing with their life and what they're doing with their job and that sort of thing. And you start to make a connection with people. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
right.
I remember having this revelation like when I was like 22, maybe 23, where World of Warcraft had just come out, and all of my friends, so my friend group, I love to death, and they all played World of Warcraft, and so did I. I played World of Warcraft for like 3 months, and they played for years after that. And 3 months into it, I stopped because I was like, I can't keep up with them. They play too much. I just didn't, because I had a job and a girlfriend, and I'm not bragging, by the way. I just had a lot of things to do. I had obligations and like people that I wanted to connect with, but they kept going, and that's fine. They were able to connect on that. But every time I would go hang out with them, it's all it was World of Warcraft. And I remember sitting, like, talking to them once, like being like, can we not talk about this? Is there anything else that we can talk about? Does it have to be World of Warcraft? And at the time, they were like, nah, we want to. That's what we want to do. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
fine. But you're right. You're never really going to connect with somebody if you're only talking about, World of Warcraft or like Marvel movies or movies in general.
Yeah, you're right. That's not a.
It's not.
It's not a bad thing.
And again, it's not a bad thing that you do that with your friends. It's totally fine. And if, by the way, this doesn't go for like, these are friends that you've established year-long relationships with, and like, that's okay if you guys only talk about that shit, because you probably had some deep conversations here and there that connect you guys. But if you want to get to know somebody, that's not the way to do it. You don't just talk about movies or television or whatever else. You don't. Eventually, you're going to talk about yourself, or they're going to talk about themselves, and you listen, and you have a back and forth. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it took me a long time to come to that realization.
It did for me too. Yeah.
I guess that's just, I remember now, like, to parents, they're eventually right. My dad basically noticed that I wasn't socializing properly because I like tech and gadgets and stuff and would prefer to hang out with them. So yeah, it took a while to build all that stuff.
But it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, yeah.
I was lucky. I grew up in a household where that's like my mom and dad. That's what we did. We addressed things head on, and like it didn't matter if it was a really hard conversation to have. We just did it.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I know it was really, but also it sort of prepared me later in life to have good conversations with people. I'm not saying I do it right. It's just more of I'm prepared in my brain to have those conversations. If we want to switch gears to something very serious, I can do it. But a lot of people didn't grow up that way.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
My parents, we never really talked about anything.
Yeah.
It was mostly just like coordinating the household, and that was it.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I honestly think where I grew up was weird. I think that was strange.
Yeah, I remember watching sitcoms and being like, what household is this? Where people actually talk and come to understandings and have moments of transmission of
like
information.
television?
Yeah. I remember being so jealous. It's like Boy Meets World. I'm like, what dad is this? Who like has wise ideas and stories and makes you feel better about yourself. That's not a thing. Come on.
It is. People really do have that.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, I think Don, big scares about trying to be interesting. I think a lot of people feel that pressure, but yeah, I mean, whatever. That's such a weird and subjective window to hit. Somebody could be the most boring person in the world to one person and the most interesting person to another.
Yeah.
The trick is to just be okay being yourself and not feel like you have to adapt or or like give yourself permission to feel immunity from judgment.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Which is also really tricky because sometimes you do need to pay attention when people are trying to correct you, or like say like maybe don't do that, Chief. Like
Donbot, I'm gonna blow your mind right now. What you're saying, like it's hard to be interesting. Basically, you're scared of trying to make. You're scared of making sure that you're interesting in a conversation. And I get that. I understand that. But you know what's interesting to people generally is you talking about your feelings or you talking about your interests or you talking about your path in life or whatever. And the reason I say that is because that's what people watch. Television, movies, whatever else. They love a story.
Yeah.
They love a story about where you've been and where you're going and like all that stuff. That's what reality TV is so big. It's because we all want to sit around. Like we don't want to like. It's really fun to watch explosions and like action movies and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
But also, people fucking love the Kardashians because the Kardashians have a bunch of other bullshit. It's all made up, by the way. Most of it. It's all produced, but it's still things that happen in their life. Like one of them has an argument with another. So then those arguments are really interesting because you get to find out where they're coming from and where they're going and like who they are as a person, et cetera, et cetera. So when you talk like that and you're vulnerable, then you become interesting. And I'm not saying you should do that all the time, either like you said, where you go and like straight hit him with the serious stuff, or like I've been divorced. You're like, whoa.
Let's talk about it right now.
But it's there's a balance, like Lawrence just said. It's really hard. It's really hard to do.
That's life. Navigating that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Bruce, I got something for you to read.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Did I not tweet this? I didn't tweet this.
Oh, that's just been sitting on your phone the whole time?
Shit.
Oh, all the viewers we could have had.
I've been doing that a lot.
This is a Twitter, or this is a.
All right, this is apparently Bruce is reading something.
Yeah, this is Bruce reads. So this is a thread, like I think it's what is it? Tumblr thread. So there's multiple people, but I'm pretty sure you can get through it here. It relates to Spongebob. That's important.
I like SpongeBob.
Okay. So you might have to narrate like who's saying what.
Okay.
Because there's a few different parties involved. But so that's the first picture. If you just swipe
Hey,
to
what
the
phone did you get?
Oh, that's a Galaxy S10.
Ooh, do you like it?
I do. I like it a lot. It's taking like I'm slowly customizing it to how I use it and stuff like that. So it took a little getting used to, especially since it's like Samsung's version of Android and stuff like that. But I'm getting there. It's kind of getting to be my phone instead of just a weird stock phone.
Since the Pixel 4 is a dumpster fire, I don't think I'm going to get it.
Exactly.
So.
Yep. I waited for the Pixel 4 announcement. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
And then just bought a refurbished S10 for like $450.
Is there any context I need to give the audience for this?
No, it self-contextualizes. Just the post there. It's just a...
All right. These are people on a message board that it looks like they're talking to each other. And I'll try to give you the character's name, or not character, the person's name that's saying what they're saying. So this is Pele. And Pele says, "Weird how you guys, Spongebob fandom, are putting an abusive ship on my dash, Squidbob, and not thinking twice about it, but all right. And then Mew says, quote, abusive. Where? And then Play says, are you really going to act like Squidward isn't constantly berating and verbally abusing SpongeBob? Like, did we watch the same show or what? Lol. And then 606 says, literally don't even bother with this person, lol. I'm so sick of freaks who hate on Squidbob, yet still ship Pat Bob as if Patrick isn't incredibly abusive towards SpongeBob. Is there more?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. It's Me Cartoonist Girl says, just some tender advice here. Squidward is 9 years older than SpongeBob. And then shows pictures of their birth dates. And Cartoonist Girl says, if you ship Squidbob, you are shipping a middle-aged man in his 40s with a young adult.
Kind of hot, I guess.
And then Booby says, are you for real? And then Pelé, the original poster, says, this is a quote, although SpongeBob's driver's license says his birthday is July 14th, 1986, Hillenburg joked that he is 50 in sponge years. He explained that SpongeBob actually has no specific age, but that he is old enough to be on his own and still be going to boating school. That's just a quote from some website. Then Pelé says, not a fan of Squidbob in any way, shape, or form, but I'm also not about to let somebody spread blatant misinformation on my post. Cartoonist Girl fires back. As vague as his age may be, I think times such as the first SpongeBob film where everyone, including Squidward, calls SpongeBob a kid or boy implies that he's still intended to be fairly young. And Squidward is implied to be a pretty old guy. I mean, look at both their moms, for instance, and then there are pictures of their moms. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's got the sides. It's a little tricky there.
There we go. The pictures of their moms. You can see that a little bit.
I might need to con.
And then Pelé fires back. SpongeBob's mother aged gracefully as she is a sponge with a lifespan potentially spanning thousands of years, whereas Squidward's mother was not so lucky as squids have a lifespan of typically no more than 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Squidward's mother also had to deal with the stresses of raising Squidward, which I believe speaks for itself.
Not wrong.
Is this the last one?
Oh, yeah, that's the last one.
Cartoonist Girl fires back to Pelé. That was Pelé that said that. Now we're Cartoonist Girl finishes off. This is it. Finishing strong. All I'm saying is if people are going to be shipping Squidbob, they're also going to have to reconcile with the fact that Squidward is an old grown man who's been through high school, college, who's worked at the Krusty Krab much longer than SpongeBob has, who's lived in that particular neighborhood longer than SpongeBob has, all while SpongeBob is still dealing with school bullies, being called a kid and a boy by everyone he knows and getting kisses from his grandma. They cannot possibly be in the same age group, age or maturity-wise. Squidward is obviously an older figure. SpongeBob, who looks up to the Squidward, is known to take advantage of constantly. The age difference definitely plays a part in this. I would agree, Cartoonist Girl.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I never thought about that, and I didn't want to think about that, but now I am thinking about that.
Look, if you can't ship them.
You can, and people do. So you can't tell the internet what they can't do. They're just going to do it.
That's true, you're right.
Yeah, Oh, look at the little guy.
Canterpie.
Aww. Oh, yeah.
Pokemon.
You might level up someday. You gonna play Pokemon?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Autumn and I are super excited about it.
Awesome. I'm actually kind of jazzed. I haven't played a Pokemon since Emerald on Game Boy Advance, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, you know what? I've played Pokemon like 5 times. I think I got it. And I just haven't played a Pokemon since. Because guess what? They're all Pokemon.
They're all exactly the same.
But it's been so long that I think it's time to go back. I think it's time to do it again. And now they got big Pokemon.
What do you mean by big Pokemon?
Big.
What do you mean?
They get big.
Yeah, they're like legendaries.
Gigantamax.
They have like evolved.
Nah, dog. They get big.
Do they get bigger than legendaries? Is that the?
Yeah, they turn it. Well, no, about legendary side. They turn into kaiju basically.
No way.
Yeah, there's a whole mechanic.
What are they called?
Gigantamax. It's like a thing you shoot them with, and they get huge for 3 turns.
See, I haven't done any research on it.
Oh,
I'm just gonna play it.
Oh, damn! I spoiled it for you.
It doesn't matter. Because, and this is the way I've always played Pokemon over the last few years.
Gigamax. That's it. Thank you,
Witch Hunter. Gigamax. There we go.
Dynamax. Nope, it's there. Thank you, Alicia.
Wait, which one is it? Is it Gigamax or Dynamax?
I think it's Dynamax.
Okay.
Also, right. Alicia, you said you would inspect your boyfriend's balls and report back.
What happened?
I haven't. Yeah, we got.
Do they move?
Do Pokemon balls move?
I would assume they move because everybody's balls move. Anyways.
Oh, it's both. Okay.
Oh, it's Gigamax and Dynamax.
Hey, you can't do that. You can't do that, Pokemon. You can't do it.
I mean, it looks like they did.
No, they can't. They can't. Not allowed.
But every time I walk into anything Pokemon, I, at this point, only know the originals because I played Pokemon Go a lot.
Yeah, the 150?
Yeah, I only know the original 150. And then I also ended up playing that thing in Minecraft.
I also memorized the whole rap.
With a bunch of...
You did that. Remember when you did that?
What?
When you memorized the whole poker rap?
Poker rap?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't know the poker rap?
Did I memorize something that I don't know?
Oh, I was lying.
I know the song.
Okay,
I know the
good.
theme song.
No, not the theme song.
Is there a poke rap?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
All 150 Pokemons are rapped.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they played it in like bumpers around the cartoon.
Oh, all right. Well, I would play it, but it would get copyright
And then
strike. Then we wouldn't be able to put it on YouTube.
Was
so.
it Neil Cicerega or whatever did a
Really?
did like a parody poker rap, and it's the best thing.
I'm gonna look this up after the stream. I can't look it up now.
Can't wait. OBS. Oh damn it! This can't pause recording.
Yeah,
Son of
Streamlabs
a bitch.
OBS. Well, I know because I've been looking for that feature on Streamlabs OBS to pause, and I won't do it.
I can't wait for them to add it to Stream Deck. Right now, I have to like tab out of whatever game I'm playing to pause the recording every time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, I'll look it up afterward. I didn't know that there was.
You
a
gotta
poker
remember
rap.
that.
Either way, I
Look at that. Look at that. They're linking it to you. How do you not click on
Thank you,
that?
Dr. Eleven. I appreciate that. I'll look at it later. I just want to walk into it not knowing anything because
Okay.
I think it's fun to discover.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And also Autumn knows a fuckload about it. So like whenever I'm like talking about Pokemon, she's always like, "Oh yeah, it's this," and I'm like, "How did you know that?" It's because she knows everything about everything. She just doesn't tell you about it.
She doesn't, and it's increasingly frustrating that Autumn is hiding her power level.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Nobody knows that. But that's why I fell in love with her. Is because the more that I talked to her, the more she would tell me things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
That I was like, what?
That one photo of her at a Matrix party, I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, well, I mean, she went to raves for years.
Fuck.
Which is awesome.
So awesome.
I know. Super cool. But that's the best part about Autumn is that you don't know how cool she is.
Yeah. A sleeper, awesome person.
Yep.
The coolest people don't need to broadcast it to the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
It just slips out when it's contextual.
It's because you know. So at that point, you just know that. Well, I don't know. I don't know that you know you're cool. You know the things that you've done are exciting for you,
Oh, yeah.
and then eventually you're just sort of like. And then when you tell the story and somebody goes, "You did that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess I. Yeah. I'm like, that's really cool.
You don't need other people to like validate it and
Right.
verify it for you. You just did it.
Yep.
That's the ultimate version of cool.
Oh, he has lipstick all over. Who gave him kisses?
I don't know, but they did the right thing.
My
We
gosh.
talked. Apparently
What?
talked about the poker app before. How quickly the memory fleets.
On this?
Yeah, Austin's calling you out.
We talked about the poker. Oh, on stream before. I mean, probably, but I was also probably trying to catch Pokemon and win that fucking contest, Austin.
Oh, okay, you're busy.
Yeah, I was busy winning the contest.
Wait, what was the contest?
It was that thing I did with Criken's crew, the
Oh,
Pixelmon, which was
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah,
in
yeah.
Minecraft.
that's so cool.
We did like an actual tournament, which was awesome.
Did you win?
I won.
Oh yeah, you did. I forgot
And
you won.
Nobody expected it. I think. Wait, did I say this? Did I say this last week? I want to say it again
Say it again.
because it was awesome.
Say it again.
One of my favorite comments ever on a YouTube video that I had posted was, I posted the final video of the Pixelmon. I'm sure I said this last week, but I'm gonna say it again.
I don't think you did.
Did I say this? Maybe I said it during another stream. I can't even keep track. Either way, the final video of Pixelmon went up. I said, "Who wins?" Like that was the title of the "Who wins the tournament." Somebody in my channel subscribed to me for some reason, commented and said, "There's no way I'm watching this video because you obviously didn't win." And all I did was write back and say, "You should watch the video." And it was one of my favorite comments because I was like, "Dude, bro, just skip through it, man."
Do you think I'm a joke?
Yeah, like don't even watch the whole thing.
Why do you think I uploaded it?
Just skip through it. Well, I would have uploaded it even
just
if I had
click
lost.
to the end.
Yeah, I
Watch
know.
the last minute.
Just look.
It took more time to type it all out.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man,
Like I don't care that you don't watch my ads. Just skip to the end and find out.
what a bitch! What a bitch! Get your bike chains. Let's go fuck them up. I ain't having that. No.
Yeah, it was whoa.
Good lord.
Pretty eyes. Yeah, I don't know. You're exposed to Pokemon, right? You know Pokemon really well.
I wouldn't say
okay.
really well. I know there are people with expertise far beyond anything that I've ever. I just played
Well, yeah.
the original games and
Of
watched the
course.
cartoon.
Yeah.
I used to. Pokemon was my workout half hour. All the way through Pokemon, I would do sets of 20 sit-ups and 20 push-ups in my bedroom.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I guess it didn't work, but I mean, I got some little bumps when I was a teenager, but
But I mean, if you did it every day,
I
probably
did it
helped.
most days. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it helped. I was still hecka fat though.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's because you ate 5,000 calories
Yeah.
a day. But still, that's great though.
Yeah, that's
It's a
something.
good habit to build.
Yeah. Oh, look at that pup.
Man, I love Awe. Our Awe is the best.
Aw.
Are you excited for Fallen Order?
Yes,
Okay, good,
actually,
alright.
yeah. Everything that's kind of come out about it is really, really exciting, and it's been so long since like a good Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I mean, Battlefront 2 it's fun, but it's not kind of.
When's the last time you played it?
I played it with you guys.
played it with us, right?
A couple months ago, and it was all right.
It's gotten even better. They
Yeah.
actually, since they put in the co-op mode, you can now grind those characters to level them up for multiplayer. So like before, you couldn't do that other than only play multiplayer. And now that co-op thing that was another addition. Battlefront is like the example of a game that 2 years later it's good,
Yeah,
which
They-
is
they
not
did
the
it.
right way to do it. But
I guess that it's fun enough because it's got the look of Star Wars and stuff as a shooter. It's fun
beautiful.
enough.
That's a beautiful game,
It's
yeah.
beautiful, yeah. But I really like games that kind of, especially when it comes to Star Wars, like tell a story or introduce me to characters or let me learn about the world.
Yeah.
And Battlefront 2 has none of that.
no, not at all.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to.
You played the
Fallen Order.
campaign. I didn't. I never played the campaign.
Oh my god, the campaign was
I
bad.
know. I remember you telling me.
Woo!
I never played it because you told me it was bad.
You might maybe play through it just for fun. It is.
Yuck.
It's bad. It's real bad. And like, I don't want to like blame anyone for that because it really does feel like you can almost see the skeleton of like good ideas they tried to put in there, but had to back off of a lot of stuff probably because Lucas was. I know Lucas is pretty overprotective of the Star Wars
I
brand.
mean, Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not George Lucas.
Yeah. No. The company. That's kind of coming. Like Stephanie used to work on Star Wars Commander, the mobile game, which was pretty good. But they tried to do like all this stuff and the mark of death, the thing that they always said to something they just wanted to say no to is that it doesn't feel Star Wars enough. That's just what they would say to everything, and then you couldn't do anything.
That sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, that's not workable advice or any kind of feedback. Yeah, it's corny, predictable, and it goes nowhere. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. There's even a scene with like Luke Skywalker where I don't know, he finds you and you're like an Imperial guy and he like lets you free.
Oh.
You play as Luke, right? And you're like you go through this level where you just like massacre millions of fucking Imperial dudes, just cutting them all up. And then you like come to a cave and there's like another named character inside of it and Luke like lets him go. And the guy's like, "Why'd you let me live?" And he's like, "You gave me a choice." And I'm like, "You just killed 450 stormtroopers to get here, man. I'm sure you probably could have like force yanked all their blasters away and just said go home. You didn't.
Yeah, but
why did you do it now?"
Murdered him.
Because it's plot. I mean, whatever. It's just like
I'm glad I never played it.
maybe you should one of these days.
Look,
just get through it in one afternoon or something.
It's weird because I can tolerate that shit in books because I've read all those terrible books, and most of them are bad. Everybody, sorry. They're all like they're not well written or anything, but they were just like, hey, it's Star Wars, so I read it. But I don't know why I couldn't.
Yeah, you read it.
I don't know why I couldn't. I don't know why I couldn't tolerate it in a video game.
Oh, Bruce, I need your advice.
Yes.
What Star Wars character should I dress up as? Like, if I were to dress up as a Star Wars character, which one would it be?
What is it for?
Going to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, you're gonna dress up as something for Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, I'm feeling
That's
feeling
cool.
frisky.
You, I would say, are probably a Han Solo type.
What? That's so kind of you.
Yeah, I would say you're a Han Solo type. You could pull off Han Solo real well. You go with the bandolier and the striped pants and all that, and the
gosh.
vest and stuff. Wow. Right?
I never thought about that. I never thought that would be within my grasp.
Well,
Star Killer would be sick. He's got a buzzed head though, right?
he has a shaped head.
Yeah.
Do you want to be evil or good?
Either. Whatever
Doesn't
I can
matter.
pull off.
Han Solo is the coolest. He looks the coolest.
Could be Watto, yeah.
Um,
I want to be. Somebody, I can't remember. I think it was Zach at work. Just immediately said Salacious Crumb. And I'm like, that would be an interesting and probably terrifying look as a grown human. Just wearing a brown bodysuit with a gut and like wispy hair, just stomping around. Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to walk around at Galaxies. I was trying to think of something that you could. Kyle Katarn is another good choice.
He's dead.
But also Kyle Katarn.
He's erased.
Kyle
He's
Katarn-
Back to the Future retconned out.
Yeah, you can't like
Also, he's just Han Solo. So was Dash Rendar.
don't dress as Kit Fisto. That would be impossible, but you should do it. Kit
who's
Fisto's I think he's the one
he's
with the
like the
big
smiley
bulbous
guy?
eyes. Yeah, he smiles. But he's
that's
got an
fine.
impossible. Dengar is also not a bad choice too. Dengar is the guy with the head wrap.
Okay.
He's the bounty hunter with the head wrap.
Okay.
But I think you should do Han Solo.
Damn.
I think you should pull Han Solo off.
Fuck. Well, okay, that wouldn't actually be. There's got to be 1 million of those costumes to buy,
There are.
right?
Yeah, there are. You can get a good Han Solo costume as well.
Yeah.
I have pieces of it if you want to borrow it. So, yeah.
Oh, there's restrictions for cosplaying at Galaxy's Edge to check before going. That's right. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point because they typically do that in the whole park, right? Like, you're not allowed to just straight up dress like characters because they don't want people thinking you're an employee.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know what the restrictions are, but
also I don't know. Yeah, there are. I could be Shmi. That's true.
who?
Shmi.
Oh, Shmi Skywalker.
Yeah.
The woman. Yeah. The
Episode 3 Shmi.
Anakin's mom.
Yep.
The one you're all beat up in chains.
And Stephanie could be a sand person.
That would be really funny.
Implications.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
Oh man,
What's Stephanie gonna dress as? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Or is she not gonna? She's just gonna.
I'm
Wear
sure
her
she'd
cool
be
Star Wars
delighted. I'm
shit.
sure. Has there ever been a named sand person?
Probably in books.
Like a tribe leader or
I'm
something?
sure that there have been in books. I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, the answer is always yes to anything Star Wars because there's been such an extensive universe, but not in movies. I don't think.
My idea was, and I know we've talked about this before a while ago, but Wilbur Hood, the best and unsung hero of all of Star Wars.
Who?
He's the dude who's like in Empire when like shit's going down on Bespin and there's like just people running around. He's the dude who just has an ice maker or an ice cream maker tucked under his arm and he's like trying to get out
Yeah.
with his beloved ice cream maker.
He has a character name.
Yeah.
Hold on, what's his?
There's
how,
like
how do you spell it?
WILLROW HOOD. Yeah. There's like action figures for him and everything.
The ice cream guy.
Just like the alarms are
He
going
has
off.
an
in Bespin.
action figure? Are you joking?
He sure does. This dude rules. I just like it.
There he is. Wilbur Hood, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, he's getting out of there. He's like, oh no, I ain't standing around for this shit. No.
Wait, there's also. So now that we're talking about our favorite Star Wars characters, I'll tell you mine. It's Malakili,
Ooh. Oh yeah, the guy
the
who
Rancor trainer,
the Rancor.
the one that cries.
Aw, he lost his buddy.
He lost his friend. That's Malakili, and Malakili definitely has an action figure, 100%. I didn't know Wilbur Hood had one though.
Did they let you be shirtless in Disneyland?
I know.
Aw.
No way. No way. But anyways,
That's such a crazy moment in Jedi of like explicitly showing the moment where the trainer's really sad that his horrific Hellbeast got murdered.
I think it was supposed to be comedy relief because it always made me laugh when I was a kid.
Yeah, it read that way when you were a kid. Oh yeah, like
Oh. Does he not understand that the milk is at the top?
Wait for it.
I want a raccoon for a pet.
He's back in.
I really want a raccoon for a pet.
Oh, they're so good. I've seen videos of like they're mischievous for sure. He's back in. Man, there was like a group of fat raccoons that was like crawling around in our backyard a while ago, and it was the best.
They're awesome.
One like tried to climb a tree and slipped and then fell and rolled across the. How are they like? It's like they know they're cute. They're like ferrets. Like ferrets know they're cute, and they play it up.
That's right. They do.
And raccoons definitely do.
Oh.
I'm afraid that someday possums will get like this cute wave on the internet.
Possums are never cute,
No.
even though I think they're cute. But I know they're not cute.
They're not.
They're disgusting.
Yeah, they kind of are.
I know you guys have already bought your episode 9 tickets, right? Stephanie hasn't. I'm assuming Stephanie's already bought them, right?
I don't know. I don't remember. Oh wait, no,
She
yeah.
must have.
I got
because
them for the Alamo. Yeah.
They came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I was having an issue where like I couldn't like the website was freaking out or something. I'm
Same with me.
pretty sure we got them. I don't know.
If you didn't, I've got extra tickets. But
Does it feel like it's? Does it feel like an ending to you? Like it's closing off a trilogy?
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
I don't. It's weird because man, of all the, we don't need to necessarily get into Last Jedi opinions or whatever, but I think one of the greatest failings of that movie is you have no idea what the stakes are going to episode 9.
No.
And at the end of episode 5, you kind of knew, like, Han's gone, Luke's had his ass paddled by Vader. You know, you kind of knew what was going on, but at the end of Last Jedi, it's like, I mean, there's 30 people left in the Resistance, but interpersonally, what's going on?
I mean, I think I've been saying this for as long as I saw the movie, and it's unfortunate because Ryan Johnson failed at his. Honestly, I believe he totally failed at what the point of the movie was, which was the very end with the kid where he uses the force to get the broom, and then like he looks to the stars. Like that's honestly supposed to be the hook for the next part, because like what you're gonna find out is
like everyone's force sensitive.
well, no, not that, but you're gonna find out a bunch of other people basically like are getting inspired by the. I know. Look, again, he failed at it.
Yeah,
but I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, it doesn't even add up in the context of, and I know we've talked about. I guess we're into it. So one of the things that I'm so curious about, and I've seen Ryan Johnson comment on a lot of things in the movie, and he's put a lot of thought into all of it.
He really had, yeah.
What I don't get is if in the far corner of the galaxy, if the resistance is just 30 people and all of their ships are blown up, how did some dude with a broom who's a slave on a planet hear about any of that?
Stories, right? Everybody's telling stories that go across the universe. It's just like on the Earth when people hear about. They've got the internet in Star Wars.
Do they?
They do, yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Absolutely, they do. 100%.
I mean, they have to put discs into robots to transmit information.
I'm not going to sit here and justify it. I'm just telling you what
I don't think they have the internet.
I'm telling you what I know they're going to say.
They can do like real shit FaceTime.
They're going to say a lot of people have learned about it because of the stories of Luke Skywalker and the stories of Rey and the stories of blah. I promise you they'll do that.
So the kid with the broom was like
the
30 years later?
It's called the HoloNet. But I don't know if they ever actually refer to the HoloNet in movies. I think they do. Either way. What'd you say? The kid with the broom?
So was that supposed to be like generations later?
No, that's like basically he's like I don't know what the time skip's going to be, but he'll grow up or everybody will learn about it and then it's stupid.
So I
think it's stupid.
I don't imagine like General Hux was like, "Oh, we almost killed the Empire or we almost killed the Resistance. Well, we better get on the horn and tell everyone about what just happened." Guys, did you see Luke Skywalker? That shit was crazy. Like he didn't do that. That's not what the Empire would do. So how did they get the word out?
I don't know.
If it's just 30 dudes huddling in a cave with crystal foxes and Pokemons running around.
Look, I agree. I think it wasn't well done.
Especially if, like, a lot of The Last Jedi tried to be like, oh, no, this shit's real.
Yeah.
Your stupid hero fantasies don't work here, baby.
Yeah, no,
this is real Star Wars. So why then are we made to believe that, like, an oppressive imperialist regime wouldn't just bottle all that up and bury that information, like has happened in Star Wars many times? But that one time it didn't work because some kid with a broom heard about it and figured out that he had force powers because he heard about somebody across the galaxy that also did.
I do not disagree. But that's what they're gonna tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. You know what? It's fine. There's laser swords and space magic. I can deal. I'm just happy it's back with Abrams because I know at least the movie will be fun.
It'll be a good movie.
It'll hit beats that I know. Like I'm probably gonna feel some shit. There's gonna be a little power friendship and
you should.
And I don't know how I feel about. Hopefully it's a big misdirect. I don't know how I feel about Sidious popping back up again. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm excited. I mean, Ian McDiarmid, the actor, is great.
Yeah,
I'm super excited about seeing him back on.
I was thinking about that. How he's remembering every scene he was in the prequels and being like,
awesome.
Motherfucker, how was he so good?
Yeah, no, he's great, and he's been great consistently throughout the whole trilogy, or I guess 6 movies now.
The only thing was a little bit off, and I don't put this on him.
Yeah.
But his body language when he was like actually sword fighting in episode 3, a little weak. Like doing.
He's an old man.
Yeah, he's an old dude, and he's like supposed to be creepy and
crazy.
I like that they made him look different. I think that there's a lot of effort put into the various sword fighting stuff. Yeah, and I think they reflect people's personalities a lot. But
I get you. I've heard that criticism a lot from a lot of people.
And they tried. When he flies across the room, there's that terrible vampire screech in the room, and it's supposed to be really creepy and scary, and it kind of is. But then he's like,
yeah.
And he's like prowling around. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I don't know. It's I'll go back to the Disney thing we were talking about, where because everyone's like,
oh yeah, oh they're evil.
Oh no, Disney owns everything. Blah 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 blah. And then like boycott them. For me, Disney keeps making things I'm gonna watch. So I'm like, if they keep making things I'm gonna watch and I like Marvel movies, I love them. Then I'm gonna keep going back. That's just, I'm sorry. And this is something that I didn't realize I had put into my head until recently because we were just talking about this, a group of people, and I was like, they're doing their creatives correctly, which is the people that are working for them that are making their movies and the writers, the producers, the directors, etc. all seem very, very happy, and no one's really talked shit about Marvel and Disney and all like how bad they are and all that other stuff. And truthfully, I think they're doing a great job. So like Ryan Coogler, who directed Black Panther, directed a fantastic film,
Yeah.
and everybody loved it. And also, they love Ryan Coogler, so it's like he hasn't ever come out and been like, I fucking hated working with him. No, obviously he didn't, because he made a great movie. So in my opinion, there's a lot of like rich executives that are stupid and they own everything.
Yeah, what is exactly the what is the beef with Disney aside from just that they're a huge company?
They own everything. That's it.
Oh.
And like people are, and it's a valid worry that they are.
I don't trust big companies, but
Right. It's a valid worry that they're growing so large that they could become a monopoly. I totally get that.
and they've done some weird stuff. Like they've tried to seed the city of Anaheim with their employees, like the board, so that they can vote on stuff. Weird.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying that they're devoid of criticism. I think we
They're
should
no
definitely.
Facebook. They're no Twitter.
They are well. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a
Twitter
good point.
had spies for Saudi Arabia working for them.
Jesus.
That happened. That just came out today. Facebook just straight up is like, nah, people can buy lies from us. It's cool. Like they after meeting with a bunch of conservative politicians, like, yeah, they can do that. Whatever. We'll take the money. So there's like actual evil in the world, and maybe Disney's just really good at covering it up.
Well,
If you want to get conspiratorial about it.
I see a lot of people being like, well, no one's gonna talk shit if they're working for, but they won't come back. And that's something that I see a lot. Is once their contract is up, they're not going to come back. If like all these people are going to bail out on Disney because they don't want to work with them anymore because it was so terrible. But I don't ever see that. I see a lot of other people like getting together to do charity things and getting together to like be at Disneyland. Like Tom Holland will dress up as Spider-Man and go to. He doesn't have to do that shit. That's not in a contract. Like those are just things that they do.
You
they
think?
Do. No,
I
it's
guess
not.
I always, in my cynicism, assumed
That those things are like if they wanted to just say no, they at this point Tom Holland's so big he could just be like nah, I'm not going to do that. And I think obviously yes they know that they're making people happy, et cetera, but if they really hated working with Disney and all the creatives there, then they wouldn't have all those people anymore, and they would be done. So it'll happen eventually. Disney's not going to be on top of the world forever. Because no company or person ever is.
that's true. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you wanna funnel your power as a capitalist consumer, drawing a line and sending against Disney is an odd pick.
It's just because it's so big. I get it.
There are other
completely
much worse companies.
Like Snappy Monkey just says, I think Disney probably has power to influence the industry to blacklist people. Not true.
Really?
James Gunn, no. James Gunn immediately found work after he was fired.
That's a really
Literally
good point.
right away.
Yeah, that's
So,
a really good point.
No, it doesn't matter. It's what again. I think that a lot of people. I think they did James Gunn wrong, actually, truthfully. But a lot of other really, really talented creatives are still working with Disney.
That whole situation still feels weird to me. There's got to be something about that story we just don't know and we'll never know.
There's some executive that
just
was
took
like,
exception and was like, we got it. We got our reason to get rid of him.
no, yeah, you're right.
And
They never liked him or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And the reason they didn't never backed off just tells volumes. Especially after it was very apparent that there was no reason to double down on it, and they stuck to their guns.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, very very weird.
And I'm not gonna sit here and defend Disney either. Like I don't care what you think. You're totally valid in your thinking, and if it's a large company, you should definitely be suspect of them. I'm not saying that they do everything right. Right. It's just more of like there are a lot of people working for them and consistently working for them, and also making good products. So I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, why not?
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but good to be suspect, like Lawrence does with Facebook. I think you should.
I guess I've wondered about that. I feel like to some degree, we all need like just some salt sprinkle of something we take a stand on just to make ourselves okay with our place in the world.
Sure.
It's interesting to see like how much people draw the line. I don't know. I think like this is weird anecdote, but like The Good Place deals with that stuff pretty well about like how the challenges of trying to live morally and where you can draw the line between doing the right thing every second of your life or taking things for yourself and spending a second to enjoy life and how that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. To wrap it all the way back around, I remember one time back in church, there was a sermon that more or less didn't directly say but implied that any time you're not doing something directly for God or thinking about God, praising God, spreading God's word, you're sinning. Like those are the two states You're either working for God or you're
What?
sinning. Yeah.
Really?
And that was another one of those moments where I was like, that cannot be right. Right? I have to like
I mean, I don't
have to
think
be
so.
able to eat a meal and not think about God for a little bit. Maybe? No? Okay. But that was, I mean, there were people who, what the hell is that?
I don't know what that is.
There were people who really tried to, oh, it's a child, I guess.
Oh.
There were people who really tried to live that, man. Like, everything in their life was all about the big man upstairs. And that was, they were
That's a lot.
exhausting.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't subscribe to that at all. That if
I don't,
you're-
yeah, I clearly don't either.
I mean, like, and I'm like, I consider myself religious and spiritual. And I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't
That's a
either.
little much. That's a
Yeah,
little much.
mic'd up. I don't think a lot of people really have ever felt that. There are some things that I realized were pretty exceptional about the church that I grew up in, and it was pretty conservative.
Well,
and
you were in
pretty,
the South in Texas.
yeah, Southern Baptist. Well, it wasn't explicitly Southern Baptist. They would hate it if you said that, but that's basically what they were.
Yeah, that's
In a small town, no less.
yeah.
So-
I would say for people that are watching from other parts of the world, that is some evangelical shit.
Uh-huh.
Like that you're going down and people are speaking in tongues and like you said, it's like if you're not with God, you're against him.
Yeah,
You're an enemy.
Mm-hmm. There was, and that makes me wonder, and I wonder to what degree, because they could get away with that stuff because there was no cultural imports, really. There was nothing to temper that. That was just normal. So I wonder, internet and all, if like you see what life was like in other places and how some people don't go to church twice or 3 times a week and have them tell you that you need to do everything for the Lord. If that's not the default, and you know that from an earlier age, it's got to change the way that you like grow and adjust in your vision of the world.
It changed you?
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Yeah.
Once you're out of the bigger cities in Texas, people get super conservative and biblical. Yep. I mean, I feel like that's kind of. I don't want to draw I mean, I feel like it's a pretty understood assumption that like smaller towns typically are a little more conservative. Big towns are a little more liberal.
Like everywhere. I mean, usually because they have a smaller culture, so usually they're not as exposed to the whole world as like the smaller towns.
Yeah. Yes.
So
And when you're not around something, you tend to like your perception of it tends to go a little funky. That's one of the things I really liked and really was drawn to about big cities is it forced me to be cool with people, just being
Yeah,
around.
Yeah.
I remember like my dad specifically just couldn't stand people, just like being in a crowd. His mood would go down and he'd eventually start snipping and snapping and just
Wow.
like being really catty.
Yeah.
Being in traffic, he just couldn't stand it. Everyone was an idiot and he was the only smart one doing the right thing. And I remember thinking like, man, I hope I don't do that. And I have that tendency too, but being around people mellows me out. Just interacting with people and having those moments where you're like, oh, I can just kind of talk to people and people are pretty smart and not all evil and terrible and not all out to get me. They're just doing their own thing and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, being in a large city, I like the effect that it has on my personality and my perception of people in the world.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up here, so I had to grow up in a large city, and it was one of those things where you are exposed to other cultures and you didn't have a choice. It's just normal. That's like it was one of those things where I'd hear about people being racist or something, and I'm like, I couldn't even comprehend it when I was a kid because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm next to people of 30 different races and religions and creeds. We're all friends.
Yeah.
It never made sense to me.
Well, that's one of the arguments, and this, people have different thoughts about this, but that's one of the arguments for representation in media, is that for people who don't live with different kinds of people, different cultures, different religions, then the only exposure they get is like negative because it's stereotypes on like CSI, or they hear stuff on Fox News that's pretty twisted about the state of the world. They have no reason to not believe that's true. And then when they meet somebody in real life, they carry all those assumptions and learnings with them. So, yeah, to represent people in a positive way, you can argue there is a social good there, but that's when it gets creepy. Because, like, then, okay, what are you implying? Like, I have to do it this way? Well, not really. But maybe you should consider doing it that way, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
That's a valid point from Girthy Grandpa. To play devil's advocate, living in a large city has made me much more apathetic towards others, i.e. like homeless people,
I guess
than I had living in a small town. Absolutely. That is a side effect of living in a large town. I think you're right. You become desensitized to crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like shit that would not normally be acceptable is because it has to be.
Hmm?
And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. It just happens.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
I can't remember. I think it was like a stand-up comic or something, but they were telling a story about how like, I think it was like Louis C.K. Problematic, blah blah blah. Telling a story about how he was, which means it may not have been true because he tells stories a bunch of different ways when he's doing his acts, but
Yeah.
how like he brought a friend into New York and on the subway there's like a dude just passed out in the corner, and his friend was just like from a small town was like, oh my god, do you need help? Like right away was so taken aback by the fact that somebody might just be passed out on the floor on the ground, and yeah, it was like, you're gonna have to get used to that.
Yeah,
that's
just
that's just something that happens here. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. So then you have to be constantly vigilant, as you do with everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see somebody that needs help them.
Yeah,
I guess that's. And I'm not saying that's easy for me. I don't do that every time.
That's tough.
You know, it's not easy because you got to go places. You got to go to work. Or maybe this dude just wants to be passed out on the sidewalk. Maybe he just had a great night.
Or he does tons of drugs and he's just vibing on it right now.
Yeah, I know. Who knows?
Maybe it's not. It's just, yeah. There's an element of like, it's not my business kind of thing. Oh, Stevie Wonder. I saw the Banana Bunch. Loved it. Said to my friend, if there's ever a Falling Down remake, I'll choose you to play William Foster.
Oh yeah.
Who's William Foster?
He's the lead. So I believe he's Michael Douglas, right? Stevie Wonder.
Their character doesn't have a name.
Does it? Well, then who? I don't know who William Foster is.
Commonly referred to as D. Fens because that's his vanity plate. But I do love that movie, and that was one of the things we were like choosing different pairs of glasses, and I was like, we should use these because these are Michael Douglas falling down glasses.
Oh, perfect. Well then, yeah. That's why he got that vibe.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. I love that movie a lot. That movie is like,
It's a ridiculous film.
it's so good though. It is like, I think it's like early Fight Club kind of like Joker / taxi driver vibes where people can watch it and come away with very different ideas.
Yeah.
And the movie's pretty explicit that he's not the protagonist.
He's a bad guy.
But some dudes somehow get through that movie being like, yeah, mess up that get those people out of our city. And it's like,
blow
wow.
up society.
Woo!
Yeah, no. That's not it.
Oh, man, that movie's so good.
William Foster's the character's name on the wiki.
Really?
That's what Stevie Wonder said.
Huh.
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
I saw it
Where did that come
20
from?
years ago, so I don't remember.
Yeah, it's not even credited that way in the movie, I didn't think. But I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched it, so. You seem like you're much more of an expert on it than I am. I won't trust
He
that.
has Google. Hey, I got a Harry Potter Wizards Unite. I've been meaning to uninstall this.
Energy's back? Oh.
Anyways, we should wrap it up.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I gotta go pack again.
Yeah, you're headed to
New Orleans.
Knowles.
Celebrate Stephanie's birthday.
Have a great time.
I will.
Sounds like fun. I've never been. Sounds like fun.
New Orleans is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm no expert. I was only there for like 4 days, but before ever. But like the vibe of that city, since it's basically in a swamp and under sea level, and the whole history of that city is that it's just riddled with death because there's mosquitoes and it was like a French port, so there's just a certain fatalism about the whole city that like they've also embraced just like booze and food because it's all just like life is short. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like do whatever work you have to. If your house fell over, just kind of like just shove it back, get it to where it's standing again, and then just go drink because it's just gonna fall over again. So it's a fun place to visit, and I'm really really excited. Yeah.
Hey, you'll have a good time. I know it's like you said. There are like obviously obligations and stuff like that. It's traveling. Traveling's always really it's tough.
And I'm planning
It'll
some
be fun.
birthday events for Stephanie too.
It'll
So
be fun.
got to coordinate with a marching band and off-duty police officers. And stuff.
That's one lucky girl.
Yeah, she's getting a parade.
Does she know that yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was her.
Holy shit.
It was her explicit idea. Yeah, you can like the city of New Orleans has a whole department set up for people just planning parades for whatever, like weddings or just
That's wild.
any old day of the week. Yeah, it doesn't cost much to get the parade route. What does cost a little bit is hiring off-duty police officers to escort the parade and then anything else. But yeah.
You make sure you take video.
funerals.
Take video of that
Oh
shit.
yeah. Stephanie got like a Steadicam 360-degree camera, so we're gonna record the whole thing. And the band has agreed to learn "Ghost Town" by the Specials. So
Absolutely.
That's very
That's a
important.
great song.
It is, yeah. About I didn't know it was about. It's about like racism and stuff. In
Oh,
England.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
About how like all these racists and stuff are fucking up all the music clubs and there's like nowhere to play anymore.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't either.
It's just a good song.
It is a really good song. But yeah.
Cool. Well, have fun.
I will.
I
hope.
This is where we say goodbye to YouTube.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube.
You can click RAC for
Sure.
me on the very bottom. You know which one to click.